Did you know, Will, that women are more likely than men to say please to their smart speaker? First of all, I don't know why anyone's saying please to their smart speaker, so I'm definitely part of the one group on this one. I have to say, from the moment I tried out smart speakers in general, hey Google, I just triggered everybody. Alexa, whatever. I was immediately already speaking to it in a different fashion than I would a human. At no point was there any confusion for me socially about how I should treat this robot voice. I had no sympathy. I'm either talking to Amazon, programmed by Bezos. You see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Why am I supposed to be sympathetic? There's a whole enterprise inside that speaker. So I never got that. But apparently, people care about this stuff and they say it matters. Well, I mean, they're trying to make the case that it matters. I'll give you the numbers here. The question of AI politeness breaks down along gender lines, with 62% of women reporting that they say please at least sometimes when it comes to talking to their AI versus 45% of men. I'm amazed at these numbers in general.
Yes.
That's a lot of people saying please to their smart speakers.
Yes.
Now, the article here on The Verge goes on to say the one possible answer is that men are generally ruder to women, which is quite a line. I don't know.
What does that have to do with...
Is there evidence? Because smart speakers are always women by default.
Oh, are they?
And groups are starting to say that shouldn't be the case, because then there's like a whole weird political...
correctness kind of thing?
Sociological scenario in which they're saying, well, then you're conditioning men to expect women to be subservient because your assistant is being you see where I'm going? I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the argument presented in this particular article relating to gender stereotypes and so forth and so on. You know, Will, don't kill him. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading the thing. But I have to say, and this is I'm just giving you the personal insight right now. I don't want, if when I'm getting the directions in the car, I don't want a guy's voice. Does that make me, am I terrible for that? I just don't, I'm going to be, it just feels more stressful or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I'm just used to it because it always has been. But then you start having questions about how did that become the case? In 2001, Hal is a guy, and he ends up being real rude.
Yeah, so maybe you got traumatized by Hal.
Maybe that's what happened. All these developers grew up, they saw 2001, and they said, we can't have a guy's voice. People are going to think of Hal. The AI, the well-known AI guy's voice is a dude who tries to kill people, humans in space.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So who knows how this all goes, but I just have to say, well, I want to poll the audience here on this one for sure. Do you say please to your assistant? I got things to do. I'm saying please to a voice on a speaker that has no feelings. That's what I'm doing now. 62% of women said they did, and 45% of men said they did.
Yeah, I felt like my sister actually said it a couple times.
Please?
Yeah. Do her Google Assistant.
So here's the thing, Will. Even though I'm doing the thing I'm doing with the ranting and the raving.
As you do.
As I would. You can imagine a future in which, let's say, the youngsters get used to having these assistants do everything for them. How do you condition a person to say please to anyone if your number of interactions with AI starts to get closer to your number of interactions with humans? Because you know how that works with habits. Like you start saying bad words and all of a sudden they start falling out all over the place. So imagine if you start putting the please away, can you really still find it when you start interacting with real people? Or does the shouting start to show up everywhere?
Right. So
do we need AI rules and politeness? Kirk's nodding. Go ahead, Will.
Well, this study might be actually a good thing to know that people are polite in general, like when they're speaking.
Yeah, have you ever been on Twitter before?
Well, speaking on like a personal basis.
Yeah, I
saying
know, but
these-
why is it then when people are typing to another human on Twitter, then they
Yeah,
don't care, then they're rude, they don't.
horrible.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really don't know.
yeah, no, it's there's a conundrum somewhere in there. There's
Yeah.
some type of conundrum going on, but it is interesting nonetheless, and people are beginning to talk about it. Certainly, if you're working at Google or Amazon, it's a consideration. Just what are these voices? Are they male? Are they female? What do they sound like? What are the options? Do they have an accent? Don't they have which accent? And you know it changes regionally where you go. The default, I'm saying. Of course, you can go in and change it, but most people won't. So you're working off the default. And you would assume companies at the scale and intelligence level of Google figured out with their stock assistant voice that for most people, that must work the best. I think they didn't just come up with it out of nowhere. They would have tested certain voices, male, female, and so on. There's another thinking in here in the article, which I found to be interesting, is that generally speaking, the way that men interact with technology is a bit different than women, or that men traditionally, I'm not trying to say everybody, traditionally men seem to be more interested in tech as tools, like our viewers, for example, right? If you look at the demographics on our channel and many other tech channels, which we've all talked about this and shared these demographics, it's mostly guys who watch tech content, who are really into tech. And in those cases, it might be that you expect more of your item that you bought, and when it's not doing what you want quickly enough, you start to get rude. Whereas it might process a little differently for women who most of the time might be a little more sympathetic as far as treating the thing like an object. It's possible. But again, it's in this article. I'm not necessarily saying it, but I can share with people that our demographics here on the channel. First of all, shout out to the ladies who are here right now, because you're part of a small group. It's like 5% of the audience on this channel right here, just to be clear. Now, granted, 5% of a big number, still a big number. So shout out to the ladies. Appreciate you being here and being into tech. You're bucking the trend. So
There you go.
But that's transparency on the viewers of this channel. Unbox Therapy is the same demographically, and many of the tech channels that I have, that people have shared access to those figures to me for. So just put that out there.